You probably didn't see this coming. One retrograde is already enough of a mess, but now we're dealing with two. It's like the universe isn't playing fair this month. Venus retrograde started on March 1st, and now Mercury is about to join in on March 15th. It's like the universe hit the pause, rewind, and play buttons all at once. And trust me, you'll feel it in ways you never expected. Oh, and if you were born during a specific time frame, this retrograde might hit you harder than anyone else. If that's you, don't worry. I'll explain exactly what's coming, but stick with me for a bit. First, we need to talk about something most people completely miss when it comes to retrogrades. It's not just about things going backwards. There's something much bigger happening. Sure, retrogrades are often seen as times when things go wrong. Plans get delayed, people from the past come back like ghosts. But that's only part of the picture. This double retrograde isn't just a rewind, it's a complete rewrite. Venus retrograde has already started shifting how we view love, desire, and self-worth. But now Mercury is stepping in, throwing miscommunication and cosmic plot twists into the mix. Let's break this down further. The Venus retrograde, which began on March 1st, is all about reassessing relationships, both romantic and platonic, and even how we relate to ourselves. Venus governs love, beauty, and the way we connect with others. When it goes retrograde, it's like an invitation to revisit past relationships or unresolved feelings, and it can bring up issues that may have been long buried. You might find yourself questioning what you really want in your relationships or realizing that certain dynamics no longer serve you. This retrograde might even trigger past heartbreaks or bring old flames back into your life, forcing you to confront unfinished emotional business. But here's the thing. While this can feel uncomfortable, it's also a powerful opportunity for healing and growth. It's like the universe is pushing you to let go of the old to make way for the new, but only if you're ready to face the truth of your emotions. Now, enter Mercury retrograde. If you thought Venus retrograde was intense, Mercury is about to take things to a whole new level. Mercury, the planet of communication, technology, and travel, is notorious for its ability to cause chaos during retrograde periods. Think lost emails, misunderstandings, travel delays, and unexpected technical difficulties. But this time around, with Venus retrograde already shaking up how we see our relationships, Mercury's retrograde will add a layer of confusion to the mix, particularly around communication with others. You might find yourself struggling to express yourself clearly or noticing that others aren't getting your point. It's like trying to talk but having your words come out in a completely different language. Miscommunications are going to be rampant, so patience will be key during this time. It's also not the best time to sign contracts, make major decisions, or initiate new projects. Anything that requires clarity and precision could be hit with unexpected challenges. But here's the twist. Retrogrades aren't just about things falling apart. They're also about the cosmic opportunity to slow down and reflect. With both Venus and Mercury in retrograde, we're being given a chance to really think about how we communicate our needs, desires, and emotions. It's a time to reevaluate how we relate to others and how our words shape our relationships. What patterns from the past need to be released, and what new forms of communication need to emerge for our personal growth. This is a time for rewriting old stories and creating new ones. If you take a step back and really examine what's no longer working, you might discover a profound transformation waiting to unfold. Now, if you were born during certain time frames, This double retrograde could hit you harder than most. If you have planets in your birth chart that are being triggered by the retrogrades, you might find that the universe is forcing you to confront unresolved issues or patterns that need to be let go of. For example, if Mercury retrograde squares your Sun or your Venus is being impacted by its retrograde, you might experience an amplified sense of confusion or emotional turbulence. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you're doomed. Instead, it's a sign that there's deeper work to be done in your life. If you're feeling overwhelmed, take some time for introspection and self-care. The retrogrades are pushing you to align with your true desires and make room for healthier, more authentic connections in your life. It's important to remember that retrogrades aren't here to punish us. They're just periods of cosmic recalibration. It's like the universe is saying, hey, it's time to take a step back, assess where you're at, and adjust course if necessary. And while that might feel uncomfortable in the moment, it's ultimately for our highest good. The key is to stay grounded and open to the lessons these retrogrades bring, even when things feel chaotic or uncertain. So, as we move through this cosmic storm of Venus and Mercury retrogrades, try to embrace the opportunities for reflection, growth, and realignment. Trust that the universe is guiding you, even when things seem like they're falling apart. And when in doubt, take a deep breath, slow down, and remember, retrogrades are temporary, but the lessons they offer can last a lifetime. And here's where it gets even more interesting. March 15th, when Mercury retrograde kicks in, also happens to be an incredibly significant date in history. Most people don't realize it, but this day is infamous for betrayal, chaos, and reversals. It's known as the Ides of March, a term etched in the annals of history due to one of the most dramatic and tragic moments in the Roman Empire. On this day in 44 BCE, Julius Caesar was famously betrayed and assassinated by his closest allies, a shocking event that would alter the course of history forever. Centuries later, the universe seems to be echoing that same energy, bringing with it an aura of uncertainty and turbulence. But what's even more fascinating is that Mercury retrograde is starting on exactly this day. And that's no coincidence. This alignment of celestial events serves as a cosmic reminder that betrayal and reversals don't just belong in the history books. They can show up in our present lives in subtle and sometimes not so subtle ways. The energy of the Ides of March is not just about political upheaval or public betrayals. It's about how our expectations of loyalty and trust can be shattered in the most unexpected ways. Only this time, the betrayal may not be the dramatic scene you're used to reading about in history. No, this time it's coming from places that are much closer to home. It might show up in your inbox, in your relationships, and even within your own mind. So, here's the real deal. Mercury retrograde begins right on this powerful, historically charged date. And that means miscommunication is about to hit like never before. If there's one thing Mercury retrograde is known for, it's the potential for misunderstandings to spiral out of control. Texts will be misinterpreted, phone calls will be missed, conversations will be garbled, and agreements could fall apart over just one misplaced word. People will jump to conclusions faster than ever before. Paranoia will be thick in the air. And the worst part, it won't just be others getting things wrong. You might be seeing illusions too. The feeling of betrayal won't just stem from external forces. It might be a product of your own inner workings, as Mercury retrograde often stirs up doubts, confusion, and mental fog. In this fog, the mind can become its own worst enemy, convincing you of things that aren't even true. The biggest betrayals sometimes come from within. Those moments when you let your thoughts twist reality, making you question the sincerity of those you trust or even doubt your own worth. Yes, before watching the entire video, I want to say one thing. If you appreciate even a little bit of the effort I've put into this content, please consider donating a super thanks. During this time, it's not just about the immediate conflicts or frustrations, it's about the broader lessons that the universe is trying to teach. Mercury retrograde invites us to pause, reflect, and reconsider the path we're on. But this time, on the Ides of March, those reflections may come with a sharper edge. As you navigate through this turbulent period, you may feel a sense of unease, as if something is off, but you're not quite sure where it's coming from. It's a time to slow down, double-check your communications, and take a step back before making any impulsive decisions. If you don't, you might find yourself caught up in a web of confusion that could have easily been avoided. But here's the silver lining. Retrogrades are an invitation for growth. Just as Caesar's betrayal ultimately led to the rise of new leadership and the transformation of the Roman Empire, the challenges you face now can lead to personal growth and clarity down the road. The illusions, misunderstandings, and betrayals that seem to surround you now will eventually be revealed for what they truly are: lessons, opportunities to release old patterns, and an invitation to clear the air. You may find that by the end of Mercury retrograde, you'll have shed old baggage, whether that's from past relationships, self-doubt, or emotional wounds. You'll see more clearly, and in that clarity, you'll find the strength to rebuild or move forward in a way that's stronger, wiser, and more aligned with who you are becoming. So, while Mercury retrograde might bring a sense of chaos, betrayal, and confusion, it's also a powerful reminder to trust in the process of recalibration. It's a time to reevaluate, release, and realign. Embrace the discomfort of this period, knowing that, much like the fall of an empire, the aftermath will usher in a new era of personal clarity and growth. Just remember, not everything that seems like a betrayal is as it appears. Sometimes it's the universe pushing you to look deeper, to question more, and ultimately to evolve into the person you're meant to be. But here's the secret that no one talks about. If you know how to navigate this energy, you can actually turn the entire retrograde in your favor. The same confusion and frustration this period brings can be a powerful tool in your hands if you know how to wield it. Think about it. The chaotic energy that creates all this uncertainty is also a catalyst for sharp, heightened intuition. Instead of getting caught up in the typical swirl of panic, confusion, and second-guessing, take a moment to slow down and listen. Really listen. In the midst of all the noise, there is a deeper frequency that you can tune into. By resisting the impulse to react and instead pausing to observe, you'll begin to notice things others might miss. The confusion that feels so disorienting is the perfect backdrop to sharpen your intuition. You'll start distinguishing what's real from what's just a fleeting distortion. You'll be able to feel through the fog of misunderstanding, avoiding unnecessary drama and finding clarity where others are trapped. While most people may get swept up in the emotional roller coaster, stuck in the drama of misunderstandings and distorted communication, you'll be ahead of the game. You'll be able to read between the lines and pick up on the subtle signals the universe is sending through the chaos, offering you clarity and direction when it feels like the world is spinning out of control. Trust me, there will be signals. You just have to be willing to tune in and trust your gut. And here's the kicker. Things are about to get even stranger. It's not just mental confusion that's in the air during this period. Something even deeper is happening on an emotional level. Over the next few weeks, your feelings are going to become all kinds of strange. The energy you're experiencing won't even always feel like it's yours. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly you felt a wave of anxiety or sadness or even excitement with no apparent reason behind it? Now, imagine that experience dialed up to 100. That's exactly the kind of emotional sensitivity you'll be dealing with. During this time, your ability to empathize will be heightened, but so will your sensitivity to the emotional states of others. You might pick up on the emotions of those around you so strongly, so intensely, that you won't even realize they're not your own. You could be going about your day and suddenly feel a surge of sadness for no reason, or maybe feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety, only to later discover that a friend, a coworker, or someone close to you was having a breakdown at the exact same time. The emotional landscape during this retrograde is anything but ordinary, and if you're sensitive to energy, it's going to be especially pronounced. But this isn't just about feeling strange emotions for the sake of it. It's about learning to navigate these waves of energy. While others might fall victim to emotional overwhelm or misinterpret the signals they're receiving, you have the power to use this heightened sensitivity to your advantage. By recognizing that not all of the feelings you experience are your own, you can gain a deeper understanding of the world around you. This is a time to become more aware of the collective emotional energy at play, to tune into the subtle undercurrents of emotion that influence behavior and decisions, and to develop a deeper sense of empathy and awareness. You'll be able to discern the truth behind the emotional noise and create deeper connections with those around you, understanding them in ways that weren't possible before. As the weeks unfold, keep your focus on the bigger picture. The retrograde may feel disorienting, and the emotional intensity may seem overwhelming at times. But if you can stay centered and open, you'll find that this period offers you the opportunity to expand your emotional intelligence, sharpen your intuition, and make decisions that align with your true path. There's more to these moments of confusion than meets the eye, and once you learn to ride the waves, you'll come out on the other side with more clarity, more wisdom, and a stronger connection to yourself and others. So don't be afraid of the strange feelings and confusion. Embrace it, because in the end, it might just be the key to unlocking a deeper level of awareness that will serve you long after the retrograde has passed. It's as though your emotional barriers are slowly dissolving, and you find yourself no longer just existing as an individual, but rather becoming an antenna, attuned to the subtle vibrations of those around you. It's as if you're picking up on frequencies that are invisible to the ordinary person. What others are saying becomes less important than what they are truly feeling. Suddenly, you're not only hearing the words they speak, but you're tapping into the emotional undercurrents that flow beneath the surface. It's like you can sense the unspoken, the hidden truths people don't share out loud. For someone who is naturally empathetic, this can be overwhelming. It's as if your heart and mind have opened up to a wider range of feelings, and you're absorbing them all, sometimes without even realizing it. One moment, you might find yourself laughing uncontrollably, caught up in the joy and lightness that others are experiencing around you. And the next moment, you might be crying for reasons you can't quite explain, overwhelmed by emotions that aren't even yours. Social interactions, once pleasant and energizing, may begin to feel draining, and you might leave events feeling completely spent, as though the emotional energy of everyone you interacted with has been siphoned from you. One thing, please listen carefully. If you want to be a part of our small and lovely family, make sure to take the subscription by hitting the join button. This sensation of being flooded by the emotions of others can seem like a curse. It's exhausting to feel everyone else's pain, happiness, anger, or confusion, especially when it becomes so difficult to distinguish your own emotions from theirs. But what if, instead of seeing this emotional sensitivity as a burden, you recognized it as a gift? Because if you're attuned to the emotional energy around you, you're also equipped with a unique ability to understand people on a level that most others can't. By embracing this gift, you can navigate the complexities of human interactions with a remarkable level of insight. You'll be able to read people's true feelings with an uncanny accuracy, picking up on subtle signs, body language, energy shifts, the unsaid words that others miss. While many people might be caught up in their own confusion, acting on surface-level assumptions, you'll be able to see through the fog, understanding not just what people are saying, but what they're really thinking and feeling. People may lie, but their energy will always tell the truth. This newfound emotional attunement will allow you to connect with others in ways that go beyond words. You'll be able to offer comfort to those who need it most. Even without fully understanding why they're struggling, you'll sense when someone is holding back or when they're masking their true emotions. And this sensitivity gives you the power to navigate relationships with deeper compassion and awareness. The key is recognizing this connection, understanding the flow of energy around you, and learning to protect yourself from becoming overwhelmed by it all. With practice, you can harness the power of this emotional sensitivity, using it to guide you through a world of complexities with a wisdom that is beyond words. Get ready to dive deep into an emotional whirlwind, one that pulls you into a vast ocean of human experience and understanding. This isn't just a fleeting glance at the surface of empathy. It's a transformative journey that will help you grasp the full range of human emotion like never before. Imagine a space where you can truly feel what others feel, where their joys and pains resonate deeply within you, and you can finally grasp the complexity of human behavior in a way that might have seemed impossible before. This is a time of powerful emotional insight, but with this heightened sensitivity comes a word of caution. Without establishing firm boundaries, this intense energy could easily drain you. It's easy to get lost in the emotions of others and forget that you too have a right to your own space, your own emotional well-being. Protect yourself during this time. Keep a clear line between your own feelings and those that belong to others, or you risk becoming overwhelmed by the tidal wave of emotional energy swirling around you. But there's more happening now than just emotional turbulence. There's something even stranger at play, something beyond the realm of human experience. As Venus and Mercury are both in retrograde, the atmosphere becomes thick with unseen forces, energies that are not quite of this world, not entirely grounded in the physical realm. You may notice that the veil between the living and the unknown feels unusually thin right now, and someone may be reaching out to you. It could manifest in many different ways. Some of you might hear strange sounds, like whispers in a room that should be empty, or maybe there's a sensation of being watched, a shiver that runs up your spine when you least expect it. Others might catch glimpses of shadows at the edge of their vision, moving in ways that defy logic. You might turn around quickly, expecting to see someone, but find nothing there. At first, you may chalk it up to imagination or a trick of the light, but the more you ignore it, the more persistent these strange occurrences will become. What was once a fleeting sense of unease will eventually demand your attention. This isn't necessarily a sign of something bad, though it might feel unsettling at first. Not all of these unseen presences are harmful. Some are simply passing through, drawn by the shifting energies of the retrograde. They may not have any malicious intent. They are just here to observe, to exist alongside you for a brief moment in time. In fact, some of these energies might even try to communicate with you. They could be offering guidance, insights that might not come from your own mind, but from a deeper, more universal source. These encounters, though strange, can be powerful catalysts for personal growth. They can open doors to realizations, nudging you to see things differently, to approach life with a new understanding of what's possible. So, while these energies might make you feel uneasy at first, take a moment to listen closely. There could be messages waiting for you in the quiet, in the spaces between thoughts, that will lead you to profound discoveries about yourself and the world around you. This retrograde period invites you to be more open to the unknown, to embrace the mysteries that lie just beyond your understanding. While the world around you feels charged with intensity, remember that some of the strangest moments bring with them the most unexpected insights. But if something feels off, if the air in a room shifts and you feel drained or uneasy, as if something is too close, then it's time to be cautious. It's a subtle but unmistakable shift, like a ripple that runs through the very fabric of your reality. The more you acknowledge these energies, the more they'll take notice of you. And here's the strange part. It's not just about seeing or hearing things. These energies don't play by the usual rules of the physical world. They're messing with something far weirder, something that changes how you experience the world in ways that seem almost impossible to explain. Right now, your senses are blurring their lines, merging together in ways that don't usually happen. Sight, sound, taste, and touch, those familiar sensations we take for granted, are starting to overlap. Have you ever felt it? That odd, almost surreal sensation when you hear a song and it doesn't just sound beautiful, but suddenly paints vibrant colors in your mind? Or when a memory floods back to you so vividly that you can almost taste it, like you could savor it with your tongue? There are moments when emotions feel less like fleeting feelings and more like tangible experiences, almost physical in nature, like heat radiating from your chest, a pressure building in your skull, or textures that seem to shift around you. These are signs of something extraordinary, synesthesia, a phenomenon where the senses overlap in ways they typically don't. Normally, synesthesia is a condition you're born with, a unique wiring of the brain that merges sensory experiences. But under the influence of these retrogrades, or perhaps because of some cosmic force nudging us toward a deeper awareness, it's happening spontaneously to people who have never felt it before. It's like the universe is playing with the very structure of our perception, forcing our senses to mingle, intertwining experiences that were once separate. The fabric of reality, it seems, is glitching, rewiring itself, and as it does, we're being pulled into a new way of understanding the world around us. The strangest part is that we might not even realize the full scope of what's happening until much later. Maybe you've noticed odd coincidences, or you've had moments where time itself feels stretched or compressed. Maybe the faces of strangers seem oddly familiar, or you've had dreams that seem to bleed into your waking life. These aren't just figments of your imagination or random tricks of the mind. No, something bigger is happening, something that's awakening us, urging us to tune into a frequency we've been ignoring, or perhaps too afraid to acknowledge. What if the planets, with their slow, deliberate dance through the cosmos, are more than just influencing our moods or shaping our emotions? What if they are bending the very nature of our perception, guiding us toward a deeper connection with something beyond the surface of our lives? Perhaps this strange distortion is a message, a sign that we are on the verge of something profound, a shift that's not just physical or mental, but spiritual. If the universe is glitching in this way, what else might it be trying to show us? What if it's offering us glimpses of a hidden reality, urging us to see the interconnectedness of everything, to feel the subtle energies that surround us, and to trust the pull of something larger than ourselves? Maybe, just maybe, these experiences are not random at all. They are opportunities to expand, to break through the constraints of our ordinary perception, and to witness the world as it truly is, a vast, intricate web of energies, frequencies, and connections that transcend what we can comprehend. And if we allow ourselves to lean into it, to embrace the unknown, we might just uncover a deeper truth that's been hidden in plain sight all along. Most people think retrogrades are just a short-term disruption, a brief moment of miscommunication or technological glitches before everything returns to normal. It's easy to dismiss the chaos that comes with a retrograde as something temporary and fleeting. However, if you've been feeling off for a while, perhaps even before March began, it's likely that the energy at play is more profound than you realize. Retrogrades aren't merely sudden events that appear, wreak havoc, and then disappear. They have a much subtler, more lingering presence than people often give them credit for. In fact, retrogrades have a tendency to creep in long before they officially begin. This early onset period is known as the shadow zone, a time when the energy starts to build and the themes that will surface during the retrograde begin to make their presence known. It's as if the universe is preparing you for something, though the full extent of its message might not be clear right away. What's interesting, and often unsettling, is that this shadow period is not merely a warning or precursor to the retrograde itself. It's a test, a chance for you to confront unresolved issues or tendencies that you might have been avoiding. The universe often uses this time to gauge how ready you are to deal with certain lessons. During this phase, patterns and themes might begin to emerge in your life, bringing to the surface challenges or emotional triggers that demand your attention. These aren't just random events, but rather moments carefully orchestrated by cosmic forces, encouraging you to reflect, heal, and ultimately grow. The energy present during the shadow period doesn't simply vanish once Mercury goes direct, as many people assume. It lingers, much like aftershocks following an earthquake, rippling out for weeks or even months. So, even after the retrograde has officially ended, the effects of what's happening now will continue to reverberate through your life, forcing you to engage with the lessons in more subtle ways. The retrograde period might feel like an emotional roller coaster, but it's essential to understand that its purpose goes far beyond causing inconvenience or confusion. It's an invitation to slow down, reassess, and reset. The themes of the retrograde, whether related to communication, technology, or relationships, are not just annoyances to endure, but opportunities for transformation. The universe is offering you a chance to clear up any lingering issues, let go of outdated patterns, and refine your approach to life moving forward. In many ways, these cosmic tests are more about what you do with the energy than the energy itself. How you choose to navigate this time will determine the long-term impact on your personal growth. The changes that occur during retrograde periods often require time and patience to fully understand, and the shadow period is where the deeper work begins. So while the retrograde may eventually end, the lessons from this phase can continue to unfold, helping you step into a more aligned and empowered version of yourself. This is why those who felt lost, stuck, or emotionally heavy before March 1st were already under Venus's shadow phase. This phase began well before the retrograde itself, subtly drawing people back into old wounds, desires, and past versions of themselves. Its energy, although not always obvious, had already started to influence emotions and experiences in a way that might have felt like a gentle pull backward, forcing you to relive aspects of your past that you thought you'd moved on from. As Venus's retrograde unfolded, it brought the opportunity to reevaluate your relationships, your self-worth, and your deep-seated desires. But now, Mercury has stepped into its retrograde phase, ready to take the reins on your thoughts, communication, and reality itself. Mercury's retrograde doesn't just affect technology, glitches, and travel delays. It shakes up how we process information, how we express ourselves, and how we perceive the world around us. It can distort your reality, creating moments of confusion, miscommunication, and misunderstandings. So, if you're expecting everything to suddenly make sense when Mercury's retrograde ends, think again. This retrograde asks for a deeper understanding. It's not about waiting for the confusion to clear, but about actively working through it. The energy of this retrograde compels you to confront what's not serving you anymore and to face unresolved matters head-on, no matter how uncomfortable they may be. The real work here is in facing what you've been avoiding, whether that's certain aspects of your emotional landscape or the patterns in your life that you've chosen to overlook. Mercury retrograde can often bring up the deeper layers of your thoughts, revealing habits that no longer align with who you are now. It's a time to reflect on what you've been unconsciously tolerating in both your outer world and inner psyche. And while this might seem daunting, it's precisely the opportunity needed for you to break free from old cycles that may have been holding you back. It is in this confrontation that true transformation lies. Take a moment to really reflect on what's been unfolding behind the scenes in your life. What subtle shifts have you noticed within yourself? Have old emotions been resurfacing? Have there been patterns or behaviors that you've unintentionally been repeating, especially in your communication or your thoughts? For some, This realization might feel overwhelming. It might bring to light things you've kept buried for a long time. And while that can be uncomfortable, it is the key to breaking free from past limitations. The thing is, not everyone feels this energy the same way. For some, it's merely a slight disruption in the flow of daily life. A miscommunication here, a delayed message there. But for others, this retrograde could shake up everything, from relationships to personal goals to career paths. If you were born within a specific time frame, get ready, because you're about to experience this retrograde with full force. The intensity of Mercury retrograde can vary depending on your astrological makeup, and if you fall under certain signs or birth charts, you might find this period particularly powerful. Do you remember when I mentioned that if you were born on certain dates, you should proceed with caution? Well, this is why not all retrogrades are the same, and not all people will experience them in the same way. For some, it might just be annoying delays or miscommunications, but for others, it feels like a cosmic earthquake that shifts the very foundations of their life. The difference lies in your unique birth chart and the way Mercury's retrograde interacts with your personal planets. It's these astrological nuances that determine how you experience this cosmic event. And for some, it's an opportunity for massive growth and realignment, even if the process feels tumultuous. If you have strong placements in Taurus, Libra, Gemini, or Virgo, this retrograde period is likely to be far more than just something you're experiencing. It's something you're deeply immersed in. These signs are ruled by Venus and Mercury, and right now, these two powerful planets are stirring up energy that feels anything but smooth. Venus governs love, beauty, values, and connections in Taurus and Libra, while Mercury, the planet of communication and intellect, rules over Gemini and Virgo. With both planets involved in this retrograde, there's a certain sense of rebellion in the air, disrupting the flow of things and forcing us to reconsider aspects of our lives we thought were settled. It's important to remember that retrogrades don't only affect your sun sign. If you have significant placements in these signs, such as your moon, rising sign, or key planets like Venus or Mercury, this cosmic event will feel even more pronounced for you. The effects are personal and inescapable, inviting you into a period of deep transformation, both mentally and emotionally. You may feel as if you're being drawn into a whirlwind of questioning everything around you. What you once thought was solid and certain in your life may now seem questionable or even unstable. This isn't just about external events, it's about an internal shift, one that is unraveling long-held beliefs and forcing you to see the world in a completely new way. During this time, you may notice strange, unexplained patterns emerging, recurring dreams, symbols, or even people from your past popping up out of nowhere. It's almost as if the universe is hitting rewind on your life, pulling you back to situations, relationships, or emotions you haven't thought about in years. You might find yourself returning to places you haven't visited in ages, or revisiting unresolved issues from the past that you thought were long buried. This sense of déjà vu is no coincidence. The universe, in all its wisdom, is bringing these experiences back to the surface because there's something you missed. Perhaps a lesson that was too painful to learn the first time, or an insight you failed to grasp. The retrograde is here to give you that second chance. But this isn't merely a time for reflection or nostalgia, it's an intervention, The universe is urging you to confront what you've been avoiding. There's something, perhaps even several things, that you were meant to learn but haven't yet. And now you're being given the opportunity to do so. However, if you try to ignore it, if you choose to push it aside, the universe won't let you off that easily. The signs will only get louder and the lessons more persistent. The patterns will repeat themselves over and over until you finally pay attention. It's not about punishing you, it's about awakening you to something deeper, something important that you can't keep ignoring any longer. If you're feeling the weight of this retrograde particularly heavily, it's not a sign of bad luck, it's an indication that you're being given an incredible opportunity for growth. The people who are most affected by this are the ones who, although they may feel challenged or even overwhelmed, are being handed a rare gift, a chance to make a significant change in their lives that most others will never experience. It's a moment to shed old layers, let go of outdated beliefs, and clear away mental and emotional clutter that's been holding you back. And yes, while this process might feel intense or even uncomfortable at times, remember that this is part of the healing journey. What comes after this retrograde could be transformative in ways you can't yet imagine. This is your moment to step forward, armed with the wisdom you've gained, and embrace the fresh opportunities that await you on the other side. What if you had a second chance to fix something you thought was lost forever? Imagine the possibility of undoing a mistake or correcting a decision that seemed irreversible. Often, we carry around regrets as though they're permanent, like once we make a choice, that's the end of it. We accept that some things are gone for good. But what if that's not true? What if the very nature of time and our experiences is more fluid, more malleable than we realize? Astrologers and spiritual guides often talk about retrogrades, like Mercury retrograde, and the chaos they bring into our lives. But retrogrades are not simply about disruption and confusion. They are, in a deeper sense, about a rare and powerful opportunity to rewind time, even if just briefly. These periods, although often viewed as periods of struggle or confusion, act as strange little portals that take us back to the past, to those moments we thought we had long moved on from. Rather than simply bringing back old issues to torment us or hinder our progress, they offer us an extraordinary opportunity to revisit and correct what we once thought was long done and over. Think about it for a moment. Why do exes suddenly show up in your life during certain times, almost like clockwork? Why do old, unresolved issues come bubbling to the surface when you thought you had already moved on from them? Why do forgotten memories, ones you believed were buried deep, suddenly resurface with such unexpected intensity? It's not just random coincidence. There's something much deeper at play here. It's as if the universe is gently reminding you that certain chapters of your life are not quite finished yet, even though you may have thought they'd been closed for good. These moments are not just about revisiting the past. They are about making sense of it, gaining closure, or perhaps even healing wounds you weren't fully aware of. Retrogrades offer you a reset button, a chance to hit pause and reflect on what you've been through. Instead of seeing them as disruptive forces, think of them as sacred opportunities for reflection and reconciliation. It's like having a second chance to learn from past mistakes, but this time with the benefit of greater wisdom, growth, and experience. They offer us the rare possibility to right old wrongs, to heal long-neglected emotional wounds, and to approach past relationships with a fresh perspective. In many ways, retrogrades help us find our inner balance by drawing attention to the things we've pushed aside or tried to forget. It's as though the universe is inviting us to revisit these old issues not as a punishment, but as a gift, a chance to finally find peace with them. These periods are not about being stuck in the past, but about using the lessons from the past to inform the future. It's about breaking free from cycles that no longer serve us, letting go of old beliefs or habits that have held us back, and finding the courage to move forward with renewed strength and understanding. During retrogrades, we may be faced with situations that seem like repeats of past events. Yet, if we allow ourselves to lean into these moments rather than resist them, we begin to see them through a new lens. What once seemed like a painful chapter can become a source of clarity. The issues that once felt unresolved can transform into stepping stones for growth. Retrogrades don't just bring back what we thought we were over. They give us the opportunity to heal those old wounds and to make amends where necessary. They ask us to close doors that were left ajar, to finalize unfinished business, and to release any emotional baggage that might still be weighing us down. There's something in your past, something that, whether consciously or subconsciously, still holds a grip on your mind. It's not always easy to pinpoint what it is, but you know it's there. It could be an old decision you regret, a relationship you ended too soon, a dream you abandoned when the fear of failure outweighed the desire to succeed, or an opportunity you hesitated to take because you were too afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, it's likely something you've tucked away, perhaps convinced yourself that it's a chapter you've moved on from, or that it's a part of your life that's long gone and irrelevant. But deep down, you know that memory still lingers, quietly shaping your present. Right now, the universe is giving you a rare, almost magical second chance to revisit that moment, not to relive it or replay it in a futile attempt to reclaim what was lost, but to reframe it, to see it through a new lens. This isn't about going back and trying to recreate the past or force the circumstances to fit the mold they once held. That would be an exercise in futility, because the truth is, the person you were back then is not the same person you are now. You have changed, you have grown, and most importantly, you have learned. What you may not have realized at the time of that decision, or when that dream slipped away, was that those choices, those moments, were only a fraction of the story of who you were and who you would become. The circumstances surrounding that choice may feel similar now, but they are not the same. You are not the same. The perspective you hold now is different. Your understanding is deeper. You've been through experiences that have sharpened your instincts and toughened your resolve. You've built resilience, honed your emotional strength, and gained clarity in ways you couldn't have before. This is where the true power of reflection and resetting comes into play. The universe isn't handing you a second chance to just take you back to where you were. It's giving you an opportunity to step into that moment again with all of the wisdom and growth you've acquired. This is about seeing those past decisions and missed opportunities with fresh eyes, understanding them not as failures, but as stepping stones on your journey. You now have the chance to make a better, more intentional choice, one that aligns with who you are today, not who you were when the past unfolded. In these moments, you hold the power to break free from the cycles that once held you back. No longer are you bound by the same patterns of behavior that led to regret or pain. The chains that once confined you to old thinking, fears, insecurities, and doubts are no longer as strong as they once were. Now, you have the chance to rewrite the narrative, to choose a new path, to approach the situation from a place of strength rather than fear, from a place of wisdom rather than uncertainty. What you may have once seen as a missed opportunity or a wrong turn, you now understand as a crucial part of your journey, one that shaped you into the person you are today. The beauty of this second chance is that you no longer need to chase perfection or aim to replicate what was. Instead, you have the freedom to take what you learned, blend it with your current self, and make a choice that serves your future better than any choice you could have made in the past. Embrace this moment, for it's not simply about recovering something you lost, it's about transforming that past moment into something new, something that propels you forward. With the gift of hindsight, a fresh perspective, and the courage that comes from having faced your challenges head on, you can finally break free from old habits and make choices that truly reflect the person you've become. This is your chance to let go of the past and move toward a future that is shaped by intentional decisions, conscious growth, and the power of your own transformation. The universe isn't giving you a second chance to repeat history. It's giving you a second chance to create a future that reflects who you are now, not who you once were. And that's a gift worth embracing with open arms. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that once something is done, it's done forever. We often convince ourselves that the mistakes of our past are permanent scars, that the wrong turns we took define us, or that the opportunities we missed can never be reclaimed. But the truth is, life is not a linear journey. It's more like a winding road that twists and turns, offering new paths and chances to grow at every corner. What you thought was a dead end could, in fact, be the beginning of a new adventure, and what once seemed like an irreversible mistake might just hold the key to your evolution. In each moment, you are constantly evolving, growing, and transforming into a version of yourself that's more attuned to who you're truly meant to be. That growth doesn't just happen in the easy moments, but often emerges from the most difficult ones, the regrets, the failures, the moments when you felt like you couldn't go on. These painful experiences are not signs of defeat, but stepping stones, offering valuable lessons that can lead to deep healing and personal breakthroughs. If you approach life with the mindset that nothing is ever truly lost, and that every experience, even the ones that hurt, has something to teach you, you begin to see the infinite opportunities life offers for reinvention. The universe isn't trying to trap you in the past. Rather, it is offering you the chance to rise above it. Every moment is an opportunity to heal and try again, not just for yourself, but for the dreams, relationships, and passions that matter to you. The belief that you are somehow stuck in the past or defined by the choices you made only holds power over you if you let it. In reality, the chance to rewrite your story is always within reach. You're never too far gone to make a change, to shift your mindset, or to step into a version of yourself that is more aligned with your highest potential. It's easy to look at the things that didn't go the way you planned and feel defeated, to allow the weight of those unspoken words, missed opportunities, and unfulfilled dreams to keep you anchored in regret. But instead of dwelling on what cannot be undone, what if you chose to see those things as part of the larger picture, as pieces that fit together in a way that brings you closer to the person you are becoming? When you release the grip on the past, when you let go of the fear that you've missed your chance, you open up space to breathe life into new possibilities. Now is the perfect time to reflect on what is resurfacing in your life. What past decisions, moments, or people are coming to the forefront of your thoughts and feelings? What could these elements be asking you to revisit, reframe, or resolve? Sometimes the past doesn't resurface to haunt you, but to give you an opportunity to heal old wounds, to bring closure to unfinished business, or to correct a course that once felt lost. These moments of reflection are not signs of weakness or failure, but invitations to step into a more empowered and intentional life. The universe is constantly offering resets, giving you the chance to reimagine your future, but the true power lies in your response. You are at the helm of your own journey. You don't have to keep repeating the same patterns, staying stuck in regret or self-doubt. You can choose in any given moment to step into a new reality, one where you make decisions with greater awareness, where you break free from the cycles that no longer serve you, and where you finally heal those parts of yourself that have been waiting for resolution. The opportunity to change is always available, and it begins with the simple decision to let go of the past and embrace the freedom of possibility. Don't wait for the perfect moment or for someone else to give you permission. The power to create the life you desire, to rewrite your story, and to become the person you've always been capable of being is in your hands right now. Trust in your ability to navigate the twists and turns of life with grace and courage, knowing that no matter where you are today, it's never too late to begin again. If you're finding value in this content, consider supporting our channel by giving us super thanks. It truly makes a difference. And please don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting updates and content that can inspire and encourage you. Your support means so much, and we are grateful for each of you.